Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to get right down to the deets, which I think means details. I don't know what's going on here. I've got a new spirit guide that is apparently much younger than me. So excuse me if I throw out some terms that none of us know. So let's get started. We're going to be talking about politics today. Now, if you can't tell by the way I started this video, I have a lot of energy. Sometimes when the spirit guides want me to do a video, they sort of light me on fire a little bit with some energy. And so today is going to be labeled spicy. This is going to be a spicy psychic update on politics. Okay, today is Monday morning, and they delayed the Dominion lawsuit that is between Fox and Dominion regarding the voting machines and what Fox said about them. Now, a lot of people are upset about that because they feel like Dominion is going to settle. And I'm going to be honest with you and say it's like 90% that they're going to settle. And that's good and bad. And let me talk you through it, because I know that this was a good opportunity for us. For the world, for the light, to shine a light on what happens with Fox News and how they say things that can sometimes be untrue, and how they can mislead millions and millions and millions of people. So, if this went to court, went to trial, it would just all be public, right? I mean, we would really know what's happening in the inner sanctum of Fox News, and we could theoretically use that to admonish them or to change their business model, or frankly, just put a big leather muzzle over Tucker Carlson's mouth. And, if they're going to settle, we lose that ability. We lose the publicity of those details. So I just want to tell you, because I guess because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was upset. I was thinking, don't settle, don't settle, don't settle. Stick it to them, take them to court, drag them through the court of public opinion at the same time that you're dragging them through the actual court. And I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I think it's down to about 10% chance. So Fox would have to do something stupid at this point for Dominion to really take them to court. Now, you and I both know these people are not, the brightest bulb in the pack. So there is a possibility that they could do something really stupid. But And that stupid thing is not actually the parsing of the money. Dominion's going to make a boatload of money no matter how you look at this. No matter how you look at this, they're going to make a lot of money. And I think that once you get to a certain amount of money, Dominion's like, you know what, whether it's 50 million or a billion, right? I mean, when you get to a certain amount, it's a lot of money. And I don't think they're going to be grabbing every little dollar bill they can. I don't really think that's why they're doing this. I think they're doing this to save free speech and save their business model, save their reputation. And honestly, to save the reputation of voting machines in general, right? So what I see happening is that even though I think Dominion is going to settle, again, 10% chance that they don't, I do believe that they will settle. And I do believe that a lot of the facts or the contentious points of the lawsuit will likely be sealed. So that's the problem. That's the problem that I have, is that if this information is sealed, you're going to have people like 45 continue to say that voting machines are rigged and not just say Dominion. So all he's going to do is take the word out and then continue vilifying voting machines. And that's the problem. That's the problem that I have. Okay. That's why I went to my spirit guides and said, look, WTH, what is going to happen here? So what they told me was, which made me feel a lot better, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I like to share the good news too. Yeah, there's investigations going on in all of the voting, not just the machines, but the precincts, the precinct chairs, the just every aspect of voting. And that investigation is happening at the level of the DOJ. And I'm telling you that they are finding things, and that's why they have the go-ahead green light to investigate. So even if Dominion says, hey, we're gonna just settle here, we're gonna collect all our money, all our guests, and we're gonna just go do our thing. I really feel like part of this is, they're giving me chills over this. Part of this is the fact that, honestly, the DOJ just kind of needs them out of the way. They just kind of need them to go sit down over there, because we're getting busy over here and we don't need you in our way. And if there's an active court battle going on, somehow that impacts the DOJ's ability to investigate. I don't know how. I could go deeper into it, but that's what they're telling me. Now, we also have to remember there's another voting company, I think it's Smartmatic, coming right behind Dominion against Fox. So this isn't going to be the first thing that you're going to hear about. But if Dominion settles, I expect that Smartmatic or whoever it would be would also settle. Now, do I need to continue? I can talk a little bit more about this DOJ. I would just tell you that this, look, you and I know, right? I mean, I think I've changed my hair color twice in this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this takes a long time. These investigations take a long time. So I'm not telling you that the DOJ is going to be coming out this summer and saying, we've got problems with voting. I do think, and you have to understand that I love the Biden administration. I'm a big fan of Biden. I'm a big fan of the Biden administration, but it's true, regardless of being psychic or not, it's true that this man takes the safe way. He's not a rabble rouser. He's not a table flipper. He's a let's get this done in the most prudent way possible for the American people. And that means let's not upset the American people. So I don't think you're going to see this big announcement come out. Well, they're telling me it'll be a big announcement, but it won't be, we won't know everything. So you may hear a big announcement that says the DOJ is investigating some of the machines that might have been used in certain states. I'm looking at you, Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. And they're just going to be looking at that. And so, like everything, when you have a busy news cycle, of course, the political people, the people like you and I that watch politics, that are tuned into politics, that's going to raise a big flag. We're going to be wanting to know more about that. So there will be information that will be, public. And the end of the way I think this is all going to end is that next year, I feel like we're going to have the big Voting Rights Act, because honestly, you guys, we can't continue to operate like this. The system is broken. The states have gone literally, whereas they haven't succeeded, they have succeeded, right? That you have people in the state house saying, we're not following this. We're not doing that. They're basically doing everything they can to muck up the workings of our democracy. They're taking their states' rights and they're trying to make them federal rights. The way the judge in Texas said, I'm going to put the kibosh on this abortion pill. And the rest of y'all got to deal with it, right? I mean, we're really finding out that there's a lot of operating within our democracy that has just been through norms. It's normal. The states don't do this. Presidents don't do this. Governors don't do this. Governors don't grab up people that have sought asylum, stick them on a bus or a plane and ship them to another city or state. I mean, I could go on and on and on about the things that have been happening on the state level, right? It's ludicrous. It's nutso town. Well, okay, we see it now. We get it that there are some real big holes in the Constitution. It is a very old document. It is a living document. We do amend it, but they've kind of got our hands tied a little bit for amending it. So as I keep telling you guys, this is all connected. We will have openings in the Congress. Republicans will remove themselves forcefully, by hook or by crook, probably by crook. It may be by hook, but they're going to be removed. Now, I'm not talking about 20 Republicans. I'm talking about maybe 3, because we're going to have votes, or we're going to, yes, we're going to have votes, and some of Republicans will be replaced with Republicans, but some won't. Okay. So what I see is the whole sheer panic of these Republicans being investigated is going to cause, this is the table flipping moment that I've been talking about for months. You have Justice Thomas, you have Roberts. That's going to be a big deal. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But you have all of these Republicans are going to start getting these indictment letters or letters of intent of investigation. And let me tell you, nothing's going to get your attention more than that. And if my buddy over here is getting investigated, then I'm going to be calling my assistants, and I'm going to be going, do we have anything? Do we need to hide? Do we need to cover up? Do we need to get our collective shite straight? At least our story straight? It's gonna send a chilling factor throughout Congress, and not only Republicans, Democrats too. It's a shot across the bow, is what the guides are talking about. So what happens is, once these few Republicans get switched to ours, and then the rest of the Republicans are sitting up straighter in their seat because the principal just walked into the room, that's when you have the bipartisanship start working. And that's when you're going to see a voting rights bill pass on the federal level that's going to straighten up all of these states' craziness, all these gerrymandered maps, all of this craziness is going to get straightened up. The writing is on the wall for these people. They get it. They got into office through maps that are not constitutional and through maps that leave out the majority of the voters in their state. So you now have majority people upset, really upset, getting more upset by the day, and starting to protest and starting to march and starting to put pressure on these politicians. So this is all together. The thread connects it all. So let me show you how the thread connects to the Supreme Court. And then I'll even show you how the thread connects to DeSantis and Trump. The thread connects to the Supreme Court because we have Exhibit A, Justice Thomas, who has been basically acting like literally a king. He's actually acted like he doesn't have to do anything that is customary or of a norm. Here we go again, right? So he hasn't been filing. He hasn't been filing things correctly. He hasn't been acknowledging all these free gifts that he gets from Harlan Crow. The latest thing is, and this is the thing that's probably going to run him down, is that Harlan Crow, if you don't know this already, Harlan Crow is a billionaire out of Texas. And of course, Harlan Crow has been taking Justice Thomas and his wife on vacations twice a year all over the world at Harlan Crow's expense. Now, that's supposedly allowable because you can get a friend can host you at their house. Okay. Well, a friend can host you at their house was kind of meant that you would come over for lasagna or maybe Taco Tuesday, but not on a $500 million yacht, in Indonesia, or, I mean, come on, what were we thinking about here? Again, they've caught us out. They've caught us out. We said, because we couldn't imagine this ever happening, we said, sure, you can go to your friend's house for Taco Tuesday. We never thought somebody would be flying a Supreme Court justice around on their private jet and taking them on trips on their private yacht. We just didn't see that coming. Wasn't on the bingo card, folks. So now we got to fix that. But here's the problem. There's a lot of problems, but here's a problem that I think is going to dog him. And I will say that all of this with Justice Thomas, the energy has legs. It's going to take off. It's not going to stop. It's not a dud. This is not a dud. This is a live firecracker, and it's going to follow him all around. It's not going to stop. The energy suggests it's not going to stop. So here's the other thing. I gather Justice Thomas's mother was living in this, kind of older home, I think in Savannah, Georgia. And what Harlan Crow does, him and his brother, Trammell Crow owns just a conglomerate, the guides are calling it, of rental companies and all kinds of real estate, anything to do with rental real estate, land, anything like that, and probably some other subsidiaries. But what they're most known for is that. So Harlan offered to buy Justice Thomas's mother's home, plus 2 other lots that were owned. Now, this land became Thomas's because Thomas's brother died. So it was somehow he had a pretty big stake in this land now. Now, this was a very modest home and modest lots in a modest part of Savannah. And the whole thing was sold to Harlan Crow for like $144,000. Now, even though that seems like a modest amount to you, that actually is a little bit higher than it appears that it might have been worth. Now, that's subjective, but that's what it appears. But here's the thing that's going to get him. After Harlan Crow bought the house and owned the house, Thomas's mother continued to live there. And Harlan Crow got permits through the city to do a lot of upgrades to the house, gave the house a new roof, gave the house a carport, really spiffied it up for her. Now, that's a conflict of interest. I don't know how anybody could see that any differently. This billionaire is flying this guy around on his private jet and his private yacht. Meantime, buys the mom's house, lets the mom stay there, fixes it up for her. This is wrong. Even if she's not alive anymore, she was alive when this transaction took place, and she was living for many years after that. I believe she's still alive, and I believe that they're going to do an interview with her, but I can't say that 100% for sure. Now, this is a problem. Now, you have other problems, because now what's happening is that ProPublica and some of these investigative journalists, whom have been busy all during Trump, but nobody wanted to hear it. We were going through a pandemic, right? We had some kind of shock. The American people literally could not handle one more bad thing. They didn't want to hear one more bad thing. And Trump was flooding the airwaves with bad things. So when people came up with things against Trump, he would just launch 20, 30 things that would be top front page burning topics. So this investigative work just never, ever got a foothold. But now it is getting a foothold. Now people are paying attention. Now people want to know more, and they're willing to, put their eyeballs on this. And that means it has energy. So this is the problem. All of these things plus more are coming for Thomas. Now, when I read on Thomas, what happens is Thomas does think he's a king. We elect our Supreme Court justices forever. Number one. Number two, they are tasked with keeping themselves in their own disciplinary action. They discipline themselves. So we have literally just created an oligarchy by accident. But we did, because they can swat down the laws or they can approve the laws. And they're untouchable. Unless we have Congress that can impeach them. We don't have a Congress that can impeach them. Okay? So you would think game over. This man's just going to be able to do this forever and nothing bad is ever going to happen to him. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. The guides told me last year, one of the first justices that's going to be able to have to step down through all of this malarkey is Justice Thomas. I couldn't understand how. I couldn't figure it out. I kept wondering and asking them, is it health? Is it a scandal? What is it? They really couldn't tell me, because I think it's going to be, honestly, a mixture of both. What I see happening is Harlan Crow, who, for all purposes, truly owns Justice Thomas. Justice Thomas does not believe that. He does not believe that. He thinks he's his own man. He thinks he's more powerful. He thinks he's more powerful than Harlan Crow. He's more powerful than the president, because he has served while presidents have come and gone. Right? Sounds like a king, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys. Justice Thomas is now drawing attention to the dark money. Okay? The dark money is now getting sunlight and investigations and more sunlight and more investigations. And I'm here to tell you, Harlan Crow's got a lot more power and money than Justice Thomas does. So I see Harlan Crow going up to Justice Thomas and slapping him on his shoulder and saying, hey, buddy, you did such a good job for us. Thank you. Oh my gosh, look what we were able to do together. Your history will live on for so many decades. People will write about you. I will make a statue of you. I'll donate it to your alma mater. I'll donate, a whole wing. I'll build a whole new college and put your name on it, whatever you want. But you got to go. You got to go. And Justice Thomas is going to say, no, I'm not going anywhere. Make me. So what I hear Harlan Crow saying, and this is for entertainment purposes only and allegedly, well, you don't really understand. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take complete care of you and your family and your wife. No problem. But you cannot stay in office because you're causing me problems. The existence of you is causing me problems. So we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and the guides have said it before, you can choke on your oatmeal in the morning, or you can sing zippity doo dah while you're walking on my yacht, cruising, the best beaches of the world. It's up to you how you want to play this, right? So I fully expect that Harlan Crow is going to win this match, and he is going to basically force majeure. He's going to force Thomas to step down. Now, Thomas needs to save face, and it needs to make sense to the Republican Party. So I expect that he's going to have some kind of health problem that's going to make it in the best interest of everybody to step down. Okay? I see that coming. Right now, Thomas is fighting, but I see this coming for sure by the fall, for sure by winter. And quite possibly faster. It really just depends on how much sunshine shines in the darkness of Harlan Crow. They're just reminding me, and I talked about this on my last video, about his affiliation, his affection, his interest, it's very public that he collects Nazi memorabilia. I'm sorry, but that's not going to fly too well. That's going to gain steam. You're going to start seeing a lot of American Jewish people, a lot of American people standing up and saying, we don't want this. We don't want this dark money, persuading perhaps our Supreme Court. So you see that. Now, also something interesting that's happening is Justice Roberts. Justice Roberts is under fire right now because his wife is some sort of recruiter for attorneys tend to get before the Supreme Court. I mean, it just looks bad. Whether it is or not, it looks bad. So you have Justice Roberts and Clarence Thomas kind of really trampling all over these ethical norms. And I feel like the pressure is really going to be on Thomas, and it's really going to be on Roberts. And Roberts might actually go to Thomas and say, you got to go. I got my own problems. You making my problems worse, right? Because the light, that is my dog. She throws herself on the ground. I don't know why. Look like an earthquake on camera. Roberts is going to be saying, Thomas, you got to go. You're causing people to look at my business. Okay, so you might have Roberts pushing Thomas. You may even see Roberts step down. If Roberts is not going to be he's not the kind of guy. He's not like Mitch McConnell. He's not like Thomas. Those kinds of people can stay in the fire. They can stay in the pan. They don't care. They can stand the heat. Roberts is not that kind of guy. He would rather bail and save whatever he has of his reputation rather than get run out of town. Okay. So you can see the thread is attached. It's the light. The light is shining on these people. And for the first time, the American people have the wherewithal, the ability, the energy to see all of the slime and the sludge that the light is shining on, and they want something done about it. The American people are tired. They're tired. They just went through a pandemic. They just went through really and truly kind of hell with their family. Either they were hiding from, C-19, or they were fighting with their neighbors or their own husbands or wives or fathers or mothers or siblings about the vaccine or about Trump. They're tired. They're fed up. They get through the pandemic, and then what happens? All the shootings start happening again. Now they're worried about their kids. Oh, and then add to that their kids can't read the same books that they read when they were in high school or college. Oh, and then add to that they can't get a safe abortion if they need to for the reasons that they need to, whether it be saving their own lives or making a choice about their family. They're fed up. Americans are fed up, people. Go back to the thing that we said about how the majority of people did not vote these people into office. These people are representing a minority. The majority wants abortion. The majority wants gun control, better laws around guns, simple things like background checks, red flag laws, permits, safe storage, simple, reasonable things is very popular. But meanwhile, you have people like Texas Governor Abbott taking all those things away. You have people like DeSantis taking all those things away. The average American is like, what in the hell is going on? They're getting fed up, people, and they're going to get in the streets, and they're going to put more pressure and more pressure and more pressure on their state governments, which isn't going to work. I'm going to be honest with you. But what it will do is it will bring the light, and that light will bring the feds. That will bring the DOJ and the feds. The feds are going to run through these state houses and start plucking people out. You broke this law, boom. You broke that law, boom. They're going to be investigating everything because the guides told you last year, we have to get them breaking laws. Surprise, surprise. A lot of things that we thought were laws were actually norms. So they're skating. But these dummies, are not only breaking norms, they're breaking laws. So the feds, the DOJ, it's going to be cleaning house. They're going to be going through the states. You broke a federal law, you're going to pay for it. Okay. They're going to be investigating the voting. They're going to be investigating all of this stuff. And because of that added investigative sort of spotlight, these people, the dark money, they're going to start cutting ties. They're going to say, nope, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with you. Because again, the guides have told you guys, the dark money, you know what their motto is? Do you know what their slogan is? We want to live to rule another day. They realize, game up. They're not dumb. They've been doing this for a long time, folks, probably since right around, Reconstruction, right around the Civil War. They want to live to rule another day, which means they're going to cut their ties. They're going to cut everybody loose. They used them, and they're not going to stand. Did Trump stand up for those people? No. These people aren't going to stand up for these people. They're going to use them. They're going to cut them loose, and they're going to let those people stand in front of a judge. Doesn't matter if that person's a senator. Doesn't matter if that person is a U.S. congressman. It doesn't matter if that person is a U.S. congresswoman. It doesn't matter if that person is a state congressperson or a state senator or a mayor. It doesn't matter. They're going to cut them loose, and they're going to let them find out what happens when you break laws, because these entities will go underground. They will go underground. They'll disappear. So that in that way, they're safe. They'll hibernate. They'll just check out until they get another opportunity to come out. Now, you might be screaming at the video right now. Why don't we go after them? Why don't we go underground and grab them? Some of them will be. I mean, definitely, I think Harlan Crow and Trammell Crow are going to rue the day. I think that their brand is going to suffer. I think that their business is probably going to be investigated a lot like Trump Inc. was investigated. So I do think that they are going to suffer some consequences. But I also think that other dark money is going to get away. Remember, the guides have said this many times, that about 80% of dark money is going to be, captured, ferreted out, whatever. 20% is going to crawl under a rock. And that's okay. 20%, we can deal with 20%. Every time we see this, we deal with it better. We dealt with it with the Nazis in Germany. We dealt with this in the Civil War. Every time we see this energy, we're actually doing better at handling it, because on some subconscious molecular level, we're like, hey, I've seen this before. I know how this movie ends. Let me get busy. So even though it looks bad, we're actually doing better every time we get a chance to deal with it. We're dealing with it better. So now let me end up by talking about DeSantis. Again, this is allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. We told you guys that he was going to peak early, number one. We also told you guys that he wasn't going to be president. And we also told you guys that he was likely going to get into some trouble in 23, 24. So what has happened is everybody is saying he's peaked early. He not only has he peaked early, but his brand of extremism is so extreme that his biggest donors are cutting ties with him. Now, would you also say that might be connected to this dark money getting some light shed on them and them saying, we're ripping up our contract with you and good luck, goodbye, right? That's what they're doing with DeSantis. They led him to believe that they had his back and that, yes, we are the wing in your sail. We're the wind in your sails, and we are going to help push you over the finish line. except for that they didn't count on the average American being against everything these people stand for. The current polls in Florida show that DeSantis is not popular, number one. Number two, that his actual platform is unpopular, that the average Floridian wants safe access to abortion. They want all the things that DeSantis is trying to take from them. And of course, we have Disney, who's having their gayest of gay events in June during Pride Month. They're having a whole celebration of gay just to basically stick it to DeSantis, right? Okay, so it's all of a piece, you guys. It's all of a piece. And these people this summer are going to rue the day that they ever thought that they could be bigger and badder than the United States Constitution, bigger and badder than our justice system, and that they could be king and queen of our country. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. So they're going to really be paying a price for this. So that's kind of what you're seeing. That's what you're going to be seeing. Hopefully that all made sense. Of course, I'm channeling this. I have no idea what I just said. Let me know your comments down below. I am going to do a live politics video. It might be tonight. This is Monday. But I am going to do them. I will tell you that I will continue also doing the recorded videos because I know some of you really prefer those. But truth be told, it's actually easier to do a live. I come on, I hang out, I answer your questions. I'm done. These recorded videos take hours to get onto YouTube. And I'm a busy lady and I don't really have a lot of time, but I will continue to do both of them. And plus some other things like Way Out Wednesdays. So let me know what you think. If you're watching this video and you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Why not? And I'll see you again real soon. Take really good care of yourself. They got this. The light is winning against the dark. The light is winning against the dark. End of story. Take good care. For entertainment purposes only.